Hi, my name is Gina and I'm a real alcoholic. Without going back over much of my story, because the truth is I don't really remember my story. Some people might know it better than I do, but trust me, it was bad. It was really bad. And at the end, when I crawled back into AA with sheer desperation, I had one card left to play, and that was God. And I had heard and seen God working through other people in the program, but my terminal uniqueness kept me separate from AA for a very long time. I wasn't one of those that used and said, oh my God, I can't go to that meeting, they might know. I used and drank and went to the meetings anyway. I really believed that God was preparing my path through AA the whole time. And you know, when I finally came to my senses after alcohol destroyed my life, AA was still there and readily accepted me, and was glad that I was alive. I wasn't the kind of person that got drunk and stoned and said, oh my God, I can't go to that meeting, they might know. I was drunk and stoned and went. And I was the one nodding out in the back and waking up and swearing I was just tired. So when I crawled back into AA for the last time, and raised my hand and counted days, I was able to get a sponsor and go through the steps for the first time. And it was easier for me to pick up the £1,000,000 phone and call people rather than pick up that £1,000,000 pen and do the work that was necessary for that vital spiritual experience that I needed to not only continue to live, but to give back, because I'm such a hopeless variety drunk that I don't get to have a life back. I had been an AA thief for so long. What I'd do is I'd go into AA, clean up, look good, sound good, get friends, get a boyfriend, get the job, get money, get the kids, get the house, the car, and relapse right away. And it never worked out with me getting my life back. And this last time that I crawled in, I put my sobriety first. My sobriety never loses its priority, ever. And I remember to this very second that I was willing to go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. So when I met my sponsor that took me through the steps and I was able to do the work, this is pretty much what I got out of it in a quick version. Admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable was that I was powerless over the insane idea that one of anything would be a good idea. Definitely an insane thought. I was powerless over alcohol. Not only am I powerless over alcohol, I am powerless over the alcoholic. And my life was unmanageable with or without the drink, because my problems would pile up and be astonishingly difficult to solve. And came to believe a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Well, I didn't even know what sanity was. How could I be restored to something that I never even had in the first place? But it was finding out about God. It was a decision about God. And I had already made the decision that my last card, that last gamble, the last thing I had to grasp onto was going to work for me. And my God is animate. It's not a doorknob. It's a loving, caring, compassionate God, and the God of my understanding, you know. So when I made that decision about who my God was to be, I came to step 3, and step 3 was made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him. And that was a decision for God to be in control of my life. And let me tell you, when I fired myself, I have never been happier not being the boss. I'm not in charge of anything, and as long as I stay out of Gina's way, it's amazing how things turn out for the better. There's a line in the big book that says, when I place my life in God's hands, astonishing things happen, or something like that. And it's just amazing what happens when I stay out of my own way. And making that searching and fearless moral inventory, nobody ever wanted to put me on step 4 because Gina always relapsed. I did 1, 2, and 3 for a year. When I got the right sponsor, when the teacher is ready, a student will appear, and vice versa. When the student is ready, a teacher will appear. And that's exactly what happened. I sat down with somebody that it's not that I didn't know, but it wasn't like we had a real connection, like friendship. I could say things that didn't affect that other person's life. And so I was really ready to make a fearless and thorough moral inventory, vigilantly and quickly. I wasn't ready to struggle with it or sit on it. I did the best I could, and I didn't dig up stuff. I did it, the most immediate things I could remember. I did those 4 lists. And when I sat down to do step 5, it was 50% of the weight lifted off my shoulders. And even though 6 and 7 is really short in the big book, it's a lifelong process. It was a humbling experience. Forgiveness. Not only was I able to forgive everybody else, I can forgive myself, and that was a big deal because I thought that I was so horrible. And turns out that I am not as unique as I thought I was. In other words, I'm not a legend in my own mind. And when I turned back to my list, because it wasn't something after I did 4 I burned and threw in the ocean, I held on to it, and in 8 and 9 I turned back to that list, and my sponsor was able to tell me my character defects, because there was a long list. I didn't even know some of them existed. And I was able to make the most immediate amends. I thought I needed time on this step. You know, it was going to take me longer than I thought. And my sponsor said, Gina, make the most immediate amends, have the willingness to make the most immediate amends, and this is something you're gonna do for a long time. For a long time. And when we get to step 10, we're going to continue to make personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. And things did come up. Things I forgot. Things I didn't want to face. I was able to make those amends quickly. And prayer and meditation for only for the knowledge of His will was the decision to do the 12th step. Carry the message. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry the message to alcoholics and practice these principles, which are the steps in all our affairs. So I have gone through the 12 steps, and now I can try to carry the message. And there's a real thin line for me in carrying the message and carrying the mess. It's real easy for me to get sidetracked with somebody that I love, and I want to see them get sober with all my best intentions, and you wind up carrying the mess, and the message gets lost where the other person thinks this program might not work. It took me some practice to figure that out, and it's a daily practice, and I'm so not perfect. It's practice, practice, practice. We make spiritual practice. I try to live today all the 12 steps in my whole life. I must be vigilant in steps 10 and 11 so that I can constantly do 12. And prayer and meditation is coming much easier to me. It's coming much easier to me. Recently, I was able to go to New York and visit Bill Wilson's house. I took a tour, and walking up his driveway to his house and walking through that museum, they made it a museum, was better to me than going to the Vatican and meeting the Pope. It was crazy. My life has changed so much. I have a joy for living and a peace over my entire body, brain, soul, heart. I love everybody so much. Like, I want to change the world. I think we should just be able to heal the world, and starting with one person, you know. And today I understand that I am not a legend in my own mind, and it's not all about me. And it's definitely about other people, especially alcoholics, near and dear to my heart, because somebody prayed for me. I don't get to just get better and leave, because how would the new person know this stuff works? I'm eternally grateful for my sponsor, who has a sponsor, who has a sponsor, and happy, joyous, and free doesn't even do how I feel justice. I hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to making more videos and spreading the message this way. And I have a ton of friends, and I just want to say I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks.